Okay, well, tonight we're very pleased to have.
Very, very special guest tonight,
We do.
Angie Bowie. Hello, Angie.
Welcome to the
Hello.
show.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. And thank you for doing this for Punk Globe magazine.
Yeah.
I'm very honored. And it gave me an opportunity to look up Ginger and to be very impressed with her career, and then to look up my darling Tarissa Rez, the punk princess of rock and roll.
Ah,
Ah,
there you
I
go.
was,
very kind.
these are the words of the AIs,
Ah,
Ah,
there you go.
right? I got you, didn't I?
Anyway, so how you been, Angie? Been good. We haven't seen you for a while.
I've been great, working. I had to, Michael M went to work out of state. And when he goes to work out of state, then I'm left with no IT expert, no
Right.
tech to sort everything out for me. So I was a bit weird for a while. I had to get another website. Um, the website that we had was fine and I loved it. But apparently, seeing as how we've had it for 20 years, it hardly functioned with the new technology.
Ah, I know that
ah.
one. Yeah.
So I was impressed. I said, oh, okay, right, there you have it. And so I spent a lot of time doing that. And it was really tiresome. But the good thing was is that Michael from the distance
Yeah.
said, it's time for you to do the Colonel's Daughter.
Right. What's that then?
So I said, okay, great idea. I'll do it as blogs for the new website. And so then I started writing the blogs well, I thought I'd do them every week. Then it became every 2 weeks. Then it became every 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Because as long as I'm writing something, then I get immediately go on a tangent to write something else, which
Yeah,
occurred
Mm.
as you do, as
while I
one
was
does.
writing the first thing. So that's what I've been doing. Thank you for asking, Segs. How about you guys? You've been touring and playing together and
Oh
doing.
yeah, we've been just carrying on touring and yeah, doing that. Made a few records along the way, and still going. And next year, 27, is the 50th anniversary of the Ruts. I can't believe it. So,
Yeah,
and I'm only like 23, so that's very difficult
I
to.
know it's amazing
It's
how you remember
amazing.
that. I'm impressed, aren't you, Tara?
very impressed.
Not very
Very good.
impressed.
And Tara, what have you been doing?
I've just been doing the Front Club and these like little radio and video shows. I've got loads to do, but also looking after Andy a bit, he's got MS, so doing a bit of that. And
Hey,
yeah,
talk about Andy too. They gave him a nice write-up, the AI people.
Oh,
oh, fabulous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was
he's
it was
made it
very
to
cool.
AI heaven.
Thank you, AI.
No,
Please
I
stay
just wanted to
kind.
tell you because you know how everyone gets their noses out of joint.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just get what you ask for, which is a little intel, not a lot
yeah,
to ask.
yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
they were very lovely about Andy and about you taking care and all that good stuff. So
Wow.
I'm just mentioning it.
Wow, that's odd, isn't it?
You've been better by the moment.
Yeah, so yeah, just got a new album I've got to finish, but other than that, you've done a new album, haven't you?
Well,
Which is
I've done the
very
album.
exciting.
The, unlike all of you pros, I'm a writer. So when I want to do an album, I don't think about doing albums forever. I say, okay, 10, 12 top songs I've got in my repertoire. That's the album. Done. Finished.
Yeah,
So now it's been 30 years since well, not quite. 20 years since it was that we recorded, I think, 5,000 or something like that, or we pressed 5,000, but they had all been sold. So now with all the super technology, we just went ahead and put it up all over again. And Larry Treadwell was did the kind of final mastering so
yeah,
that
yeah,
was a little edgy, and had some
yeah.
feel to it. But why I mentioned being a writer is I think about my girlfriend Dana, and you know Dana and Dana's
Yeah.
71 albums. There's absolutely no problem for her. Oh,
Seems
you'll
no
make an
problem.
album every year and it'll be
Wow.
71 albums. Oh, yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Escúchame. One album, 12 songs. There you have it. If you could remember two of them.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got Backstage Passes, the audio book that originally came out in 1993.
Mhm.
So that's been re-released, is that right?
Yeah, well, Dove went bankrupt. The work reverted to me because they had paid me very well for it and they had written a special script, which I had no idea they were doing. But Dove Audio was very tight with RCA, and RCA and Putnam were working on this all together. So they rewrote the whole thing, the whole book.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
It was wild. I was absolutely, as we say, flabbergasted.
yeah.
Had no idea. So anyway, I did it, and then I won an award for it, or I should say, Dove Audio won an award for it, Publishers Weekly, for the best celebrity biography. And
That's amazing.
well, it was amazing, and it was also very cool. I couldn't believe they went to the trouble and the expense of having the whole book rewritten, and it
Mm.
was much sweeter. And
Yeah.
I'm an actor, so if I read something and it's particularly sweet, then I try to act that part. And so I thought that that might be an interesting thing for people to understand. It was my job for many years to explain David to our audience. And that's what I did. So with this book, it was great because Backstage Passes was like all Patrick Card, edgy, and yeah, yeah, yeah. But this, they softened it up. And I thought, okay, now everyone has an opportunity of hearing and seeing what I did for those years. Because
Mm.
I went with Dana and we talked about her releases, we talked about David's releases. I Any opportunity where there was radio or television where I could promote David is what I did. So, yes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
Wow.
also known you for a long time now, but read a lot from the other side as well, And since I've met you through Tara, it's a totally different perspective when you read, being a
Yeah,
fan and
yeah,
reading that because you're always there, you're always there.
yeah.
Just want to say that.
It's strange too, isn't it? I guess it's because we've lived through it. But as we listen to Me Too and this and that and all the trials and tribulations of people in Hollywood and the casting couch and blah, 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 and all this stuff, which all seems so normal to us,
Yeah.
it's a weird thing to have it being examined again. Tara, I mean, am I being clear and sort of straightforward?
Yeah, definitely.
It just, I didn't really know what they were going for. And then I suddenly realized there are some people who, when this kind of stuff happens to them, it shakes them to the core.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not that kind of person. I get sort of really pissed off, and then I might go and knock a few people off bar stools, but I try to keep injuries to a minimum. You know
Good
what I
approach.
mean? What can you do? Uh, I I find it aggravating that women have to tolerate the abuse. I find that very upsetting, particularly
Mm.
when you think that women are usually now, only now, with the examples we've had from Scandinavia and from Canada and from France, where no men are shy of babysitting kids, cleaning kids up, doing all that stuff,
Yeah, it's
picking
totally
them up from
changed.
school.
Yeah.
But it's not that long ago if you think about it. I know you know this, Segs. Men used to fob it off. They'd go, "Oh yeah, yeah, well, the wife will take care of
Oh,
that."
not me,
Woman's
not me.
job.
I don't mean you. I
Yeah.
don't mean you, but I mean
No, I
we
know.
know it. We've seen it
And
amongst.
it's interesting your perspective because you're saying you're sort of correcting it now because people can't actually relate to how it was. So
No,
you've got to
they
give a
can't.
snapshot of
It's
it.
weird, isn't it?
No,
Mm.
it's sort of changed now, isn't it?
I think
It
that's a
has changed. And it does make me wonder, like, obviously, everything is a lot more free for women now than it was back then. Do you know what I mean? You must really notice the difference.
Tell you a funny story which will make you laugh because you kind of know the people. So Michael and I were seconded to go to a company weekend
Wow.
in Colorado.
Oh,
Very, very
lovely.
nice.
This company that he worked for 3 or 4 years ago. So I was a bit, I really didn't feel too. I mean, I get a bit embarrassed with things like that sometimes because well, I look as if I should be the CEO, you know what I mean, as opposed to a dancing girl, one of the
You're the
wives.
star of the room
Oh,
wherever you go.
so we went and it was lovely and we had a really good time and we did these you get on these things it's like a luge and it goes down the hill in Colorado whether there's snow or not, and all this
Yeah.
kind of weird stuff to make the people who are working for a company have those bonding moments. So
Yeah.
I didn't say too much, it sort of moved on, and it got to be the evening. And Michael said to me, let's go to the pot store. I said, oh, what a good idea. So we went to the pot store and we got some nice weed and this and that and the other. And then afterwards, we popped out to the restaurant, which was in the whole kind of place like a big resort hotel. So this guy, one of the guys who's working for Michael, is there with his girlfriend. And suddenly I start hearing from this ear him yelling at her and her getting, well, I was a prefect at my school and a house cat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, also tour manager. So I'm afraid these habits die hard. I turned around and Michael went, oh no, not Bobby. Oh,
Just had a joke.
yeah. And I walked over and I went, is this man bothering you?
Oh, yes.
She said, well, no, it's my boyfriend. I said, get another one.
Wow.
Because I
Brilliant.
don't like having my evening ruined listening to you. Pity whistle.
Wow.
And Michael went, I see. Righty ho then. Go home and get drunk.
Yeah.
So we went back upstairs and he said to me, did you have to barge in? I said, yeah, it's
Yeah.
my job. It's what I
Yeah.
do.
Wow.
Is that
Well,
International Women's Day in the main line? That is.
Yeah. No,
I,
definitely.
didn't win me any friends. Probably upset all the people Michael worked with. But when you hear that they're just about to cry noise,
Yeah.
and you think that could be my son or my daughter being picked on by some rude ass jackola.
Yeah, quite.
So I say that, and I'm not making out that it was a smart thing to do or anything like that. It's just how I
I
am.
think it was good.
Definitely. Well, and for you to think it's your job, you've obviously done that quite a lot, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because I won't have anyone pick on anyone. I can't stand bullies. Michael
Yeah.
said, just say it up front. Tell everyone she can't stand bullies. You don't like bullies. You don't like bullies. We don't like bullies.
Obviously, Backstage Pass, the audio book, I was listening to it yesterday and I was like, that doesn't sound like Angie. So that was funny. So now I
Yeah.
know. So that was done by the audio company originally. Is that right?
Well, yeah, they had a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
script written.
Just double checking. I was like, has her voice changed that much?
It was pretty good. I
Oh, yeah.
mean, then we went, hang on a minute.
Oh, I'm a good actor. I can do all that soppy shit.
Yeah, yeah. But then your next one, which you have Fancy Footwork, you've put music to, which is delightful, isn't it?
I like the music. I
Yeah.
commented on the music straight away.
And I'm very pleased it was your voice.
Yeah, it worked very well though. The music, the whole thing worked great.
Thank you. Well, I was very proud of Cliff and Jim Waters. It was very good. Uh, I don't don't know. I just felt like it would be kind of fun to make the book of lyrics and poetry suddenly become an audiobook. It just, I don't
Yeah.
know. It
Great.
seemed like something futuristic.
Yeah.
I like the
Yes.
thought of it, you know. So I'm glad that you thought it was interesting.
And you can get more into it like whereas in a book you get lost in yourself. It was more like it was almost like spending an evening with you.
Oh, good. I'm so
Listening,
Not quite.
yeah,
Not quite.
listening to you telling the tale. What was it like doing that? What did it feel like to you putting your words into, loud voice?
I don't know. It's what we do, isn't it? We think
Okay.
it's something that we figure is worthwhile or important enough, and you make it soft and kind and sweet and a gentle way of disposition. Segs is that whole male righteous individual who makes it sweet in a different way,
Yeah,
you know? And I just try to tell each story as well as I can tell it. Sometimes they're funny, so I mean you can't, be serious about something that's funny. And sometimes they're sad stories. There's plenty of sad stories to go around. So I don't
Mhm.
know. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I wanted to see how it would work. And I also didn't want to tell anybody what to do. So I walked away from the studio when the boys went in to do the music. I said, you know what I want? Do what you want now. Let's
Wow.
make it so it's even Steven.
Yeah.
beautiful.
It
So
works really well, I've
it
got to say,
works
because I just
really well.
because it's not invasive, but it's still interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did well. Well done.
nice one.
Ew.
So yeah, we're gonna put
Inspiring though, inspiring.
definitely we're gonna put up links where people can buy that. Is there a favorite story in Fancy Footworks? Is there a particular story that you liked that you can share with us out of Fancy Footwork?
Well, let me, if it would it be okay if I just made a few suggestions when I picked up my stuff to kind of root around and think what we were going to talk about. I picked up something which I know you and I have talked about before, which is a 3 album thing of punk. And I thought to myself, well, okay, smarty pants, you're so smart, you kept it. What's it got?
Wow.
Well, shit and shinola. I had no idea. I mean, apart from a bunch of fabulous punk artists, to my surprise and amazement, they had Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, and all of these other people who I was personally interacting with and actually knew and enjoyed. And I was absolutely shocked by this. I truly was. Because I was, I thought, well, even if you only remember stories of one person or something like that, I sent you a photograph of Tequila Mockingbird because of her whole thing with what's his name? Oh dear, no, I'm gonna embarrass myself because I
It'll come back if you don't remember.
Lydon, Johnny
Oh
Lydon.
yeah.
That's his name. She was always a huge fan of his, and she had a radio thing out of LA, and she would always make sure that, the punk acts who got a chance to come and play in LA would be on her radio show. And so I liked all those I, I looked at this and I thought, now why isn't Jane County here? You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, you were adding to it.
talk about one of the original
Yes.
punks. I mean, it was fun doing that. So I got a chance to be reminded of some of the great punk hits that we had. That always
Yeah.
made me giggle. My Way, Sid
Great.
Vicious. Remember how much fun that was? It was like watching like things like uh BBC and ITV music shows being totally upended by great,
Yeah.
Yeah.
injury, all that weird stuff, which fitted in so well. But now when we look back, we're looking back on the history of punk, and it's funny, isn't it? Because we lived through it. So
It is
it's
funny,
Yeah.
and it's and obviously, the three people you mentioned there, and Roxy Music and other. Without them, even Alice Cooper, there probably wouldn't have been a lot of punk bands around, But we kind of knew that was pretty outrageous at the time. Well, David was as well,
Mm.
wasn't he? So it was pretty outrageous, really.
it is. I don't know about you, but I was really impressed. I kept thinking to myself, "Wow, this is wild," and
Yes.
I made a few notes, and by the time I'd finished the notes,
Wow. They
you
should
know what
get
I
you
mean?
to write the forward.
It wasn't short. Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Iggy Pop by himself, the New York Dolls, MC5,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Detroit,
Mm.
New
yeah.
York, LA. It was, I was impressed. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention it because
Yeah.
you
No, it's
guys
a
are
good connection. That, yeah, of course.
Well, what I was thinking about yesterday was one of our little adventures that we had when you were over here is you did an interview for Bob Geldof, and I got to hear your story firsthand, how you basically started the glam rock scene and how you put on that gig at the Roundhouse and made everything for it and promoted it and did everything. And then glam rock got big, and it was like, wow, you did that. And now looking back on it, it must be like it must be weird that your life has kind of reached the globe. You know what I mean? Which is kind
it,
of like you looking at that CD thing, thinking, what the heck? I know these people.
well, it shocked me because, I was very happy. I wasn't expecting anything, and I just thought, oh, good, 3 albums worth. Oh, that's a lot of, and I had done with Jude Rollins, we did that thing for
That was brilliant.
the AIDS
Yeah,
benefit. And so I kind of knew how hard it was to choose 2 albums worth. So that was kind of where I started with it. And I thought, 3 albums? Damn, that's a lot of music, girl. So I was looking at it. And then as I started to look at it properly, I thought, a lot of these people are pals of mine. So I guess that's why it makes sense, that I can speak on it, about it, and of it.
Yeah, it's great to have that
that's
insight.
beautiful. That is amazing.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to these books now. I haven't started them yet.
Yeah, we started like doing the music yesterday. We downloaded it on Audible actually, which was pretty cool.
How neat.
So yeah, so have you got any plans to tour the audio book at all? Would it lend itself to that, do you think?
Well, Tequila and Roy Rogers are threatening to do something at. I'm very fond of libraries and civic centers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I, you, I never feel I am a populist and I am a civilian, and I really do like making sure my tax dollars shelter me when I have to do shows. There's something there's something very secure about something that has passed a few inspections. I
yeah,
don't
Mm.
feel that way
yeah,
about
yeah,
nightclubs.
yeah. Yeah,
And
it's a different thing when you play those places.
it's a cautionary tale, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just life. I love doing libraries. I love doing spoken word in libraries. If they have an auditorium, that's great. But you know me, if necessary, I will do a jeans place, clear the counter. I got a stage. I'm busy. Ready to go. I don't need any crap. You know what I mean? I don't need any
Yeah.
of that highfalutin shit. All I need our ears and eyes who want to hear or see, and I'm happy to do that. So that was a weird way of the civic center got me. As soon as you say civic center, the ears go ding, ding. So they said, Tequila and Roy said, well, it's down at the civic center in the art gallery. And I went, oh, well, yes, I think I can find time for that. What can
So
you?
you might be doing something.
So that's April.
Yeah.
That's April dealt with. And then there's various other things to do with the Colonel's Daughter and to do with Backstage Passes being made into a series for television, and then
Wow.
there's something else. So I'm a pretty good promoter. So I'll make sure that I save enough time to push these projects along. And
Oh, sounds
look,
exciting. I look forward to those projects.
well,
All of
thank
them.
you.
Yay.
Me
And
too. I can't wait to get to see you guys play together.
yeah, and for you
Yeah.
to come to UK and Europe.
You coming over soon? One day.
Oh yeah, no, no. Well, it would be nice.
Hopefully.
It would be nice if we were under different management. If you get my drift.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm,
Oh,
I'm quite prepared to stay home until
yeah.
I know I can get back in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I talked to Gary Heffern in Finland, and he told me some horror stories about
Really?
people from his band who are Norwegian
Yeah.
going to America to do something and not being able to get in. They were sent back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
No, there's been a bit of
Something
that.
to hear as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? That kind of made me think, man, I'm ready to get on the road and go and do some traveling. And I thought, you better just stick at home, wait a while.
I think a lot of people feel like that. A lot of people put their plans on pause.
Yeah, well, Dana did. Dana said she said there is no way that I would come to America at this point in time. And I said, well, I don't blame
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
yeah.
really.
Tell us about the Emperor's, the Colonel's daughter.
On the emperor's,
It's the
yeah, the
Emperor's.
colonel's daughter.
Yeah.
First 10 or so years that I knew Michael, he would often ask me, and then when I got down and met his parents and everything, and met his father, um, I didn't realize what a big deal a colonel is in the States. You know what I mean? My dad, it was no big deal to him. He was one of those people that did ROTC at high school. And so when the Japs invaded the Philippines and they had a choice of going to an internment camp outside of Manila, my father said to all the guys that he was working with, including an Irish guy called Murphy, who became his like right-hand man, he said, "You want to go to Manila to the internment camp and to all the Filipinos?" And they went, "Nope." So off they went into the mountains. And for 3 years, no one knew they were there. They had no support. They had no weaponry. They had absolutely nothing. No boots, nothing. And they had a commander who knew they were there and who got them everything he could get them when he could, but it was very difficult.
Mm.
And my father had malaria. So a lot of the time they were out ambushing the Japanese to get drugs for the malaria and weapons. And they ate a lot of snake. And it was quite a to-do. And my father wasn't a colonel then. He was, I don't know what he was. He told me, but it's in Three Fields to Cross, which was the book my mother made him write about that time, so that there was a record of what he had done. And so the good thing about it is that I came at being a girl from a different point of view than a lot of people at that time. My mother was one of those diplomats who could talk anyone into anything. She got the Ministry of Agriculture, David Sloanham, for about 10 minutes after a dinner party she gave. And the next year, my mother turned at the lunch table and she said, "I'm so excited, aren't you, now that Israel's growing avocados?" I said, "And that is important. Why?" She said, "Because I had a chat with David Sloan. And we were talking about all the interesting novelties that are taking place in California, what they're growing. And I talked to him about avocados, and I see they're growing avocados. And she was like that. She was just like that. So she talked my father into reading to me every night. She said, "It's no point in my reading to her. I'll do that. But you need to read to her." And he read me Kipling. He read me Decisive Battles of the Western World. He read me um, extraordinary things, humorous stuff as well. Archie and Mehitabel, all kinds of wild and woolly stuff. And so by the time I'd been at school in Switzerland for 1 year. So I was 10. And he said to me, he said, "Now you do understand, if you ever get kidnapped, no one's coming for you. Try to kill as many of them as you can. No one is coming for you. Do you understand? CMC doesn't pay ransoms. I don't pay ransoms. You will not get out alive unless you take it upon yourself to escape." So, and I know, because I had the pleasure and the great privilege of meeting your dad, that you understand perfectly well a straightforward talking father. There's
Yes.
nothing better. You know what I mean? You feel like you've been taken into someone's confidence who you trust. And because they're not lying to you and telling you a bunch of baloney, you can actually cope. It never bothered me. I always knew that. It was always in the back of my mind. And so I think I'm telling you this because that is really what The Colonel's Daughter is all about. It's about the lessons that I learned at a very young age at my mother's insistence. She wasn't supposed to get pregnant. They didn't believe anyone could get pregnant after 40. My father had no idea. He was like handsome and well-read and intellectual. He had absolutely no idea that you can get women pregnant if you carry on in the way you're carrying on. It just, you know what I mean. There it was. And so to this day, Michael and I laugh because I'll suddenly say something and he'll go, "Oh, that's a Georgism." And I think a lot of us who had the pleasure, I don't know about you, Segs. I wouldn't presume to be so, knowledgeable about how you grew up, but I can see from your smile and the way you carry yourself, you don't have that. Uh, David didn't have it either. David and his father got along really well. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
His
yeah,
father was supportive. His father was nice. He wasn't as confident or kind to the wife, but
Mm.
he was, he worked at Dr. Bernardo's. He was the head promoter.
yeah.
So, of course, he got up to a lot of mischief and was probably not the best husband in the world. But on the other hand, that whole thing about how you carry with you. My mother was an angel. I just absolutely adored her. She was an artist. She drew, she did this, she cooked, she could do all kinds of things. She was a diplomat. But my father was like, he really had some stuff to teach me. And so Michael, I guess, heard me for those 10 years and
Yeah.
started to realize that The Colonel's Daughter was actually a story that I would love to write. And I did enjoy very much working on it. So thank
Wow.
you for
Brilliant. That's
asking
great.
me.
Yeah,
Wow. I love that.
yeah, that's great.
And people can just register on angiebowie.net and get your updates. Will they get them every time you upload a blog? Is that how it works?
Yes, yes, and I will be better about it. Sometimes, it's because of Facebook. You get on Facebook
Mm.
and now you've got to divide your time to,
Absolutely.
post something
Yeah.
on your website or so I'm bad at that. I don't have enough time and
It does take so much time, doesn't it?
it
It's like,
does.
how many
It's just
hours have you got in a day?
ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never ending.
Yeah.
You find
Yeah.
yourself But anyway, gosh, it's been so much fun. It feels like we've had a nice meeting.
We've had a beautiful
Oh, that
meeting. Yeah, we've had a
really went deep
lovely,
there. That's great.
lovely. And can you just tell us some, give us something to say to Punk Globe?
First of all, I hope Ginger is in top form and feeling
Yeah.
so much better.
Yes.
All good things. Your vision and the idea of providing a forum for the people with whom you performed, Miss Ginger, and with whom you guys performed, has paid dividends every day. I mean, you hear people talk about Punk Globe the same way that people used to talk about Hit Parader and the rock and roll magazines in the States and all that stuff that I can't remember all the names, the ones that Lee used to do
Mm.
photographs for, Cream and a bunch of stuff like that. So I think it's just really exciting, and I'm very happy that it appears to have survived through the internet and become a tour de force.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It is, isn't
definitely.
it?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And I got the pleasure to meet Ginger when we went to LA,
Yep.
which was great. Just kind of crazy, you know.
And she's
Yeah.
actually quite, I think she still talks to Jane County as well. So it is nice that the legends, all the legends that and cool people in the music scene, you were all kind of still pretty DIY. Do you know what I mean? Even as we get older, it's like we haven't really changed, and it's quite nice to see that in
I
everyone.
think so. I think a lot of times I think the problem that people have is they really believe that power equals money, power and money are going to be a definitive factor in developing a product and making it successful. We all know here, having this conversation, that it's only a question of belief. If you believe in something and you know it's right, you'll make it happen. And that attracts money.
Hmm.
Money follows where belief is planted. I believed in David. I thought some of the stuff was the DRAM album, I didn't care for so much. It sounded to me like someone who was trying to impress an advertising agency. He was writing commercials. But that was just me. You know, a lot of people found all kinds of interesting things in that first DRAM album. What I found interesting was Space Oddity, because I knew there'd be enough controversy about it not being optimistic that that might be really, really interesting. And then the songs that he wrote about Hermione and about broken hearts and all this kind of stuff, I thought it sounded a bit like someone taking an idea out for a walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
I
let me,
mean,
oh, that's a harmony. Oh, we
yeah,
are going now to make the walk. Off we go.
it was certainly an album that you went back to after, a lot. I think I'm not the
Yeah.
only one that got into Ziggy
I
and then
just
went
thought it was
backwards.
interesting
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
it was
but we loved it.
then, then when he got to The Man Who Sold the World,
Yeah,
now something new happened. Focus.
yeah, which I listened
And I
to the other
do
day
like
three times.
focus. I love it when people hone in. And it's also difficult because sometimes, you get an idea and it's way over here, and you get another one, it's way over here. But eventually he started to get really good at corralling the ideas that went with each other.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. I liked that, you know.
Well, you gave him great support, I don't
Yeah.
doubt, So brilliant.
And look,
Very
look,
important.
look what your belief did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And it
Well,
really, really good to have your, because I didn't think we'd talk about punk today, but then you brought that out, it's only you can, and provided a link, because you were there, which is amazing.
well, the funny thing is about it, isn't it, is that glam rock was only about being compassionate and loud about your support for everyone in society. And
Yeah,
it's the same. It was that politically charged
Yeah.
voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
And, some stuff's righteous and some stuff's not. So let's do the righteous stuff.
yeah.
And
But it's still a seed of trying to make the status quo change, which at the moment no one seems to be doing really, because it's all been done, I suppose. But we were lucky,
I
lucky
think we
part
were,
of
but
that.
I think the worst part about it is that when you give in to believing that money speaks louder than anything else,
Mm.
you've basically given up.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Because
True.
yeah,
only 10% of the people on the planet are ever going to be those high flyers. So the 90% that's left, who's watching over them?
yeah,
And if it's not songs in the street, and if it's not songs in nightclubs or songs or spoken word or all of those moments when we reiterate the stuff that we believe in, give peace a chance, love is all you need, all those great, the Stones, bitching and complaining, paint it black, all that,
yeah,
it,
Yeah.
it gave
Expression.
us a rounded version of how we could celebrate being alive and being a little bit more decent than how we first saw it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very inspiring.
Well, I
I
don't
feel like
know,
I've
but
been in
it's the way
therapy.
we
I know. Yeah,
it is the way we feel, isn't it? You
It
it
is.
is.
Yes, yes.
Definitely.
Put
yeah,
It is. We the people and
yeah,
all
well,
that.
it is because we can only account for ourselves. We can only stand up and speak for ourselves. So we try to get a group around. It's like when we would go to the Sombrero Club. I said to David, "You want to do dance music? How long is it since you've been dancing?" You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So then we went to the Sombrero, and everyone starts whizzing round dancing. And there's all this music that's fabulous, dance music. I kept thinking to myself, this cannot be as difficult as it seems. You know, but you want dance music. Well, okay then. But
Yeah.
you got to make dance music that the people at the BBC are going to play and that the people in the clubs are going to want to play. So
yeah,
let's think about this a little bit. I, I said, you can't just write something like somebody else, can you? I said, if it's what you would have written before you started analyzing it, that's the song you want.
ah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Otherwise,
yeah.
it starts to become fuff and faff.
I don't
Mm.
know whether you're talking about Young
Real.
Americans or you're talking about later.
Well, it is weird. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not simple.
yeah.
But then,
Talking about dance music, obviously Moon Goddess, the album that you created, is very much being promoted again as well with the audio books. I regularly play songs on the radio from that album.
oh,
So
thank you.
yeah,
Well, I don't know. I think there's some good tunes. You
it's
know,
very relevant even now, all the songs.
yeah, I just a lot of times people would talk. I started this conversation with you when we were talking about Dana and the 71 albums. what I was trying to say, if one is not a songwriter by profession, if one is a lyric provider by virtue of being a writer,
Yeah.
you only need 10 or 12 good ones for people to understand that you're a fine
Mm.
writer. You've studied music, you know how to slot it all in, and Bob's your uncle. So when people would say to me, "Oh, are you getting excited about the second album?" I had already written the second album, had it stolen from me by a guy who was just absolutely and utterly, unequivocally horrific. So
Wow.
I really
Oh,
didn't have that much excitement or enthusiasm about another album. I thought, what, so I could have it stolen out from under me again?
I get
No,
it. Yeah.
I'm not going to bother. I've done it. I can do it. I wrote a musical, so I could also write a musical where you tell the story. And I did that with Catastrophe too. So I like challenges. I like to take something that's difficult and see if I can conquer it. Why not, right? Why be
Yeah.
bored
right.
shitless doing something easy?
Yeah, too right.
I don't know.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Angie. Thank you for your time today. It's been an
Please, thank
absolute
you guys for being interested. Thank you for helping me promote these three things that all came at the same time. And
Well,
it's really so kind of you. I
it's a
know how
pleasure
much
though,
work it
as
is.
well.
a real pleasure.
You know, it's great. Your words of wisdom, very good, inspiring. So it's lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you guys.
Thank
See
you.
you later.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.